Welcome back, star chasers and soft hearts, to Turkish series stars, the corner of the internet where glitter meets truth and every headline has a heartbeat. If you crave stories that look past the surface and linger in the quiet moments that make fame feel human, you are in the right place. Before we let the curtain rise on tonight's emotional premiere tale, make sure you are subscribed, and if you want to be part of our inner circle, that join button is waiting. Your support keeps us telling the stories that leave a mark. Tap like, share your thoughts in the comments, and settle in. Tonight's journey is one you will feel in your chest. The bright lights of the gala were designed to spotlight cinema, but what unfolded on that velvet stretch became something more intimate than any scripted scene. At the recent premiere of Elçin Sengu's latest film, cameras clicked, stylists fluttered, and the usual parade of polished smiles rolled on. Yet somewhere between the flash and fanfare, a rare moment of sincerity broke through. The evening shifted from a celebration of art to an unexpected window into a love story that has become a touchstone for so many. The red carpet, normally the stage for gowns and sound bites, turned into a quiet confession. Elçin arrived with a presence that was impossible to ignore. It was not just the sculpted dress or the perfect hair, it was something warmer, something that glowed from within. She seemed bright in a way that had little to do with the spotlight. As the microphones gathered like curious birds, the questions grew personal, and the topic drifted to her recent birthday. You could almost feel the world pause around her. She took a breath that steadied the noise, and in that gentle intake of air, you knew she was about to share something delicate. When she spoke about Barış Arduç, her voice softened in that unmistakable way of someone recalling a memory still fresh with feeling. She called him attentive, the kind of person who listens between the lines, and gentle in the ways that matter when the cameras are off. These were not dramatic words, but they carried weight because of the way she delivered them, as if she was touching each truth carefully before letting it leave her lips. Her eyes had that quiet sparkle that tells you a person feels held, seen, and deeply valued. Let us pause here, Turkish series stars family. A real question for you. When was the last time someone made you feel known? Not with a big showy gift, but with something so deeply specific to you that it felt like a mirror held up to your soul. Those are the moments that undo us, right? If you have a story like that, share it below. We read them all, and they remind us that love is not an industry commodity, it belongs to everyone. And if you are with us in this mood, go ahead and press that like button so this story finds others who need it. Back to the premiere. The details Elçin shared painted a portrait of a surprise crafted with intention. This was not a party tossed together with glitter and noise. Barış had designed a journey through her memories. Imagine stepping into a space where your life, not just your career, is honored piece by piece. Old family albums carefully rescued from their dust, candid photos that caught laughter with no script in sight, a playlist that threaded through her growing-up years and the private soundtrack only a few people know. It was, as she described, like walking through her own heart. What moved her most was the precision with which he remembered small things. A favorite snack from a set years ago. A note she wrote and forgot. A melody she hums absent-mindedly when she is anxious. These tiny observations knitted together to say, I see you, all of you. In a world where millions watch but few truly look, that statement is louder than any headline. Of course, an intimate revelation like that does not go unnoticed. The mood in the ballroom shifted, the unasked question thickened the air the way perfume does. Were they moving toward a new chapter? Reporters, unable to resist the gravitational pull of possibility, asked if the surprise had included a proposal. The reaction that followed was a masterclass in saying so much without spelling it out. Elçin gave a small, shy smile, dipped her head, and let a laugh escape that sounded like sunshine. She did not shut the door, nor did she throw it wide open. Her words were playful and protective all at once. For now, let this stay our little secret. That single sentence sent a ripple from the venue to every feed in the country. By the end of the night, whispers gathered in clusters backstage. Even if a ring had not made a debut, the energy suggested a commitment already alive between them. You could almost feel it, the quiet confidence of two people who have found a rhythm beyond public curiosity. Are we standing at the prologue to the year's most anticipated wedding? The thought hovered like glitter in the air. Beyond the twinkle of romance and carefully dodged questions, what cut to the core was how Elçin described their partnership. She did not sugarcoat the relentless grind of the job. Early call times, long nights, physical demands, emotional intensity, the constant calibrating of public and private. In that chaos, she described Barış as her anchor, the person who does not demand performance when the day is over. Sometimes you only need someone to say, "I am here," and mean it without fanfare. That simplicity, she hinted, is the rarest luxury. Through the filming marathon, he stood as her quiet champion, present without overshadowing, steady rather than spectacular. That kind of unwavering presence can be more romantic than the most dramatic dinner by candlelight. The internet reacted as it always does, with speed and fervor, but this time the current felt unusually tender. The clip of her eyes shining, that half-laugh she could not swallow, spread across timelines like a warm wave. Comment sections filled with messages that sounded like blessings. People wrote that her happiness looked real in a way that made them believe in their own again. It was not just the allure of gossip. It was the relief of witnessing unguarded joy in someone you have watched work, rise, stumble, and rise again. In an age of curated perfection, seeing a star fight happy tears because she feels cherished connects more deeply than any film ever could. Here at Turkish Series Stars, we watched your reactions roll in, and one thing is clear, this couple lives in a soft, sacred place in your collective heart. And let us give credit where it is due. Word from the quiet corners of the planning world suggests that Barış spent weeks engineering that birthday wonder. He coordinated with family, dug through archives with care, and wove their inside jokes into the evening's stitching. No tasks pushed to assistants, no shortcuts taken. His private reflection during the process, shared with someone close, was telling. Planning surprises for her makes me feel closer to who she really is. Not a headline, not a character, but the person in between. Think about that kind of love. It is not flashy. It is patient. It is design as devotion. He chose to learn her past to enrich her present, and in doing so, set a new bar for what it means to show up. Now, an important crossroads for our channel. We have devoted so much time to understanding the layers of this bond between Elçin and Barış, and we know you care deeply. But tell us, who else should step into the frame? Which Turkish couples do you believe share this level of quiet intensity? Are you curious about Afra Sarıkoglu and Mert Ramazan Demir? Do you want us to explore the graceful legacy surrounding Burinsat? Drop your requests in the comments. At Turkish Series Stars, we build our calendar around your curiosity, and your voice maps our next deep dive. As the final songs faded and the last cameras were holstered, the night settled into a soft glow. Reporters noted a change in her demeanor, more open, more luminous, less guarded than before. When asked about it, she smiled with the certainty of someone who has stopped apologizing for her joy. When you find the person who feels like home, hiding starts to feel unnecessary, she said, and the line landed like a small philosophy. The footage of her leaving the venue felt cinematic, fans calling out her name, her team orbiting protectively, her eyes still carrying the shimmer of the evening's tenderness. The carpet was rolled away, but the truth of what she shared stayed in the room like a note still resonating after the music ends. We might be closing tonight's chapter, but this story has legs. Barış Arduç and Elçin Sango have reminded us that the most captivating narrative is not about timelines or trophies, it is about connection that endures when the credits roll. If this closer look into their unfolding romance stirred something in you, make sure you are subscribed to Turkish Series Stars and tap the bell so you never miss when we unravel the next moment that has everyone talking. If you want extra perks and to help us keep producing these carefully crafted deep dives, consider joining our membership. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. Until we meet again, remember this, we are here to bring you the stories that make you feel, the details that make you think, and the moments that make you believe again. Stay soft. Stay curious. And for now, good night from Turkish series stars, where your favorite stars become more than just their roles and love is the headline that never fades. The night after the premiere, conversations continued in corners of the internet where nuance still matters. People revisited the timeline of their relationship, not with forensic judgment, but with a kind of collective sigh. They remembered the first spark between them years ago, the way their on-screen chemistry once spilled past the frame in interviews, how time and separate projects had carved space, and how life seemed to find them in orbit again as different people. There was a sense that what we are watching now is not a flash romance but a relationship tempered by distance, reunion, and experience. The language of their affection is gentler, more knowing, less eager to prove anything to anyone. Industry insiders chimed in too. Crew members who worked alongside Elçin during the most grueling days spoke about how often she would step off a demanding set to find small mercies waiting, a thermos of tea brewed exactly the way she likes it, a sweater she had once called lucky folded and left quietly on a chair, a note reminding her to breathe before the pivotal scene. None of those gestures are grand enough to trend alone, but taken together they build a fortress. You could sense that the surprise birthday night was not an isolated act, it was the visible crest of a tide coming in for months. For a woman navigating the carnival of this industry, that tide becomes shelter. Something else struck viewers. While the rumor wave about engagement swelled, neither of them seemed keen to feed the frenzy. No staged leaks, no strategically placed hints, only the soft insistence on privacy with a wink that lets fans dream. That balance is hard to strike in an era where mystery is often mistaken for distance. Yet somehow they manage it, inviting people to feel close without handing over the keys to their living room. It is a form of respect in both directions, for each other and for the audience that loves them. And then there is the craft. Many noted how this entire sequence anchored itself around Elçin's work. The premiere was not hijacked by romance, their romance simply bloomed at its edges. That choice speaks volumes. It says that love is there to support the work, not eclipse it, and that building a life together can mean shining a light on one another's gifts rather than standing in the beam alone. In a culture that often confuses attention with affection, this distinction felt refreshing. By midweek, edits of the moment layered with music were everywhere. Some cuts focused on her laughter, others on the single beat where she steadied herself before speaking his name. Fans wrote long comments about their own partners doing small, healing things. A few admitted that the clip made them pick up the phone and say something kind to someone they had been taking for granted. If a love story can do that, then it has already done something useful in the world. As for the eternal question that hovers like a spotlight over any couple adored by millions, no one outside their circle truly knows what comes next. That uncertainty is not a flaw in the story. It is the story. What we see is a bond built not on spectacle, but on attention, generosity, and time. If there is a proposal in the wings, it will very likely be marked by the same tone as everything else we have witnessed, considered, private, and thoroughly them. And if that moment has already happened in a room with no cameras, perhaps that is even better. So here we are, at the end of a long, glowing thread, and the feeling is simple. We are grateful to witness love that looks like understanding. We are honored to speak about it in a way that respects the people living it. And we are excited to continue tracing the gentle arcs that bind their public triumphs to their private tenderness. Keep your notifications on, keep your hearts open, and keep telling us which stories mean the most to you. This is Turkish series stars, and we will be right here, waiting to walk the next red carpet with you, where the glimmer is real because the feelings are.